Welcome back to Star Wire, the channel where we skip the fluff and get straight to what actually matters when it comes to your money and your vehicle. Today we are doing something a little different. No horsepower battles, no 0 to 60 comparisons. Instead, we are going through 12 SUVs that looked good on paper, sounded great in the showroom, and then proceeded to quietly destroy wallets, patience, and in at least one case, people's health. Everything you are about to here is backed by real data. We are talking J.D. Power reliability scores, NHTSA complaint databases, consumer reports ratings, RepairPal cost analysis, and 5-year depreciation figures from industry sources. This is not opinion-based content dressed up as research. This is the actual research. And before we get into it, if you are shopping for an SUV right now, or you know someone who is, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button. We publish this kind of deep dive automotive content regularly, and it could genuinely save you from a very expensive mistake. All right, let us get into it, starting from number 12 and working our way down to the one that arguably had no business being on the road at all. Number 12, Infiniti QX56 and QX80, 2011 to 2016. On paper, the Infiniti QX56 and its renamed successor, the QX80, looked like serious competition for the Cadillac Escalade and the Lincoln Navigator. It was big, it was bold, it started at nearly $70,000, and Infiniti marketed it as the pinnacle of Japanese luxury. The reality was a little less glamorous. Road noise inside the cabin was described by owners as excessive. Not the kind of road noise you might expect from a light truck platform, but the kind that makes you wonder whether the sound insulation department took an extended lunch break and never came back. The interior technology lagged noticeably behind competitors like the Lexus LX, and the transmission had a habit of delivering rough, lurching shifts that felt completely out of place in a near-luxury vehicle at that price point. Reliability scores came in below the segment average. Annual ownership costs were high, and perhaps most telling, this vehicle lost more than 60% of its value within 5 years of purchase. You paid $70,000 for something worth about $26,000 5 years later. Infiniti means endless possibility. The ownership experience, for many, meant endless dealer visits. Number 11, Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, 2017 to 2020. Chrysler called this America's first plug-in hybrid minivan. They positioned it as the responsible, forward-thinking choice. Better for the environment, better for your fuel budget, better for the future. What they did not mention was that the battery modules had a tendency to fail. The charging system developed faults that left owners stranded, and perhaps most critically, the dealer network was largely unprepared to diagnose or repair hybrid-specific problems. HTSA opened multiple investigations into this vehicle. Battery replacement costs came in around $10,000 in several documented cases. Owners reported bringing their vehicles in for hybrid-related issues only to be told by technicians that they were not fully trained on the system yet. That is not a great answer when your eco-friendly family hauler refuses to charge and you have 3 kids and a school run in 45 minutes. Going green and getting the blues. Not exactly the sales pitch Chrysler had in mind. Number 10. Chevrolet Traverse, 2009 to 2012. The first-generation Chevrolet Traverse was GM's answer to the Honda Pilot and Toyota Highlander, a 3-row family SUV with enough space to comfortably seat 8 people. On size alone, it was competitive. The problem was underneath the hood. Timing chain issues plagued these early models. This is the kind of failure that does not announce itself politely. It builds quietly over time, and then presents you with a repair bill somewhere between $1,500 and $2,500 without much warning. Transmission problems added to the ownership frustration, and fuel economy was poor even by the standards of the day. GM's response to these known issues was slow. Owners who flagged concerns early were often met with the automotive equivalent of a shrug. First-generation Traverse values dropped quickly once the problems became widely known, and the used market reflected exactly how much confidence buyers had in these early units. 3 rows of seats, 0 rows of reliability. Number 9. Volkswagen Touareg, 2011 to 2017. Volkswagen built the Touareg to sit at the intersection of refinement and capability. German engineering, sophisticated suspension, premium interior, it genuinely had a lot going for it in concept. Then reality showed up. Air suspension failures were a recurring and expensive problem. When the air suspension goes on a Touareg, you are typically looking at $2,000 to $4,000 to put it right. The electronics were complex in a way that created ongoing headaches rather than genuine innovation, and the shadow of the Dieselgate emission scandal in 2015 did serious damage to the brand's reputation and to Touareg resale values specifically. 5-year. Depreciation on these models exceeded 65%. For context, that means a vehicle that cost $50,000 new was worth roughly $17,500 5 years later. German engineering is beautiful in theory. In practice, on this particular vehicle, it was beautiful right up until the maintenance bill arrived. Number 8. Cadillac Escalade, 2007 to 2013. Before anyone sends an angry comment, yes, the Escalade is an American icon. Yes, it has presence. Yes, it has been in more music videos than most recording artists. But the third-generation model had some very real problems that the badge could not paper over. Fuel economy sat at around 12 miles per gallon in the city. In 2008, when gas prices spiked dramatically, Escalade owners were filling up enormous tanks at prices that made even the most committed luxury buyer wince. Magnetic ride control systems failed on a notable number of vehicles, and transmission issues added to the repair cost burden. Average annual maintenance costs for these models came in above $1,200, and that figure is probably being generous. The Escalade cost upward of $60,000 when new. The third-generation model depreciated quickly once the newer design arrived, and the combination of high fuel costs and recurring repairs made the total ownership experience considerably less luxurious than the brochure suggested. Nothing says, I have made it quite like spending $2,000 a month on gas and dealer visits. Number 7. Land Rover LR4, 2010 to 2016. The Land Rover LR4 is the kind of vehicle that makes you feel incredibly accomplished the moment you buy it. It looks extraordinary. It has genuine off-road capability. The interior is sophisticated, and if you park it outside a coffee shop, at least 3 people will assume you are interesting. Then the electrical system starts behaving strangely. Then, the air suspension begins to fail, which on the LR4 is not a minor inconvenience, but rather a repair that can run from $2,000 to over $4,000, depending on what exactly has gone wrong. Ownership forums for LR4 users read less like enthusiast communities and more like support groups. Average annual repair costs on these vehicles exceed $1,400. Depreciation is extraordinary. Owners routinely report losing 70% or more of their vehicle's value within 5 years. The LR4 will take you anywhere you want to go, including, potentially, bankruptcy court. We are halfway through the list, and I want to be straightforward with you. The next 6 get meaningfully worse. One of them involves a government investigation, a brand that denied there was a problem for years, and a safety issue that put lives at risk. So stay with us, because this is where the list gets genuinely important. Number 6. Fiat 500X, 2016 to 2021. Fiat brought the 500X to the American market with considerable style. The Italian design language was genuinely appealing. The marketing leaned into the vehicle's European personality, and compact crossovers were selling extremely well at the time. On aesthetics alone, the 500X had a legitimate argument. The 9-speed automatic transmission did not get that memo. Reliability scores from Consumer Reports hit the floor. A 1 out of 5 rating in multiple model years is not a rounding error, it is a pattern. The transmission was plagued with issues. Breakdowns were reported with uncomfortable frequency, and the Fiat dealer network in the United States, which was never particularly dense or well-resourced, meant that finding competent service was often its own separate challenge. 5-year. Depreciation landed between 55% and 60%. Stylish to look at. Genuinely stressful to own. A bit like dating a Ferrari on a Fiat budget, which, now that I think about it, is exactly what this vehicle tried to be. Number 5. Dodge Journey, 2009 to 2020. The Dodge journey deserves a special category, not because it was the most mechanically catastrophic vehicle on this list, it was not, but because Dodge sold this vehicle for 11 years with virtually no meaningful updates, and the audacity of that alone earns it a top 5 position. The platform was outdated almost from the beginning. The V6 engine option delivered underwhelming performance. Safety ratings declined over the vehicle's long production run as competitors moved forward, and the journey stood completely still. Build quality was below average for the segment, and Dodge leaned heavily on fleet sales and rental company purchases to keep the numbers looking respectable, which, predictably, destroyed residual values. By the time the journey was finally discontinued in 2020, it was competing against vehicles that had been completely redesigned 2 or 3 times during its lifespan. It was the automotive equivalent of showing up to a smartphone convention with a Nokia 3310 and insisting it was still relevant 12 years of production. Zero meaningful evolution. Dodge's contribution to the fossil record. Number 4. Mitsubishi Outlander, 2014 to 2019. Mitsubishi positioned the Outlander as the budget-friendly alternative in the midsize SUV segment. Honest pricing for buyers who wanted 3 rows and did not want to stretch into Honda or Toyota territory. That is a fair pitch. The problem was that the Outlander delivered a budget experience in ways that went well beyond price. The base engine was significantly underpowered for a vehicle of this size. Interior materials felt noticeably cheap, even by budget segment standards. Technology integration lagged behind the competition. RepairPal assigned the Outlander a reliability score of 2.5 out of 5, and owner satisfaction surveys consistently reflected buyers who felt they had compromised more than they had planned. 5-year depreciation reached approximately 55%. For a vehicle that was already modestly priced, that kind of value loss is difficult to justify. Mitsubishi tried. The Outlander during these years was Mitsubishi's way of saying, "We tried." Sort of. Number 3. Jeep Compass, first generation, 2007 to 2016. The Jeep Compass is, in many ways, a study in brand exploitation. Jeep spent decades building one of the most recognizable and respected automotive identities in the world: rugged, capable, adventurous. People paid a premium for a Jeep because they trusted what the badge stood for. The first-generation Compass took that trust and delivered something that had almost no business wearing a Jeep badge. Engine options were weak. Fuel economy was poor relative to competitors. The interior was cramped and finished with materials that felt more consistent with a budget economy car than anything associated with off-road credibility. Consumer Reports ranked the Compass among the worst SUVs in its segment for multiple consecutive years, assigning it a reliability rating of 2 out of 5. Resale value was among the fastest depreciating in the Jeep lineup. Buyers paid a Jeep premium for a non-Jeep experience. The first-generation Compass wore the badge like a costume, which is fine for Halloween, but considerably less acceptable when someone is handed over $25,000. Number 2. Nissan Pathfinder, 2013 to 2016. The Nissan Pathfinder name carries genuine history. For years, it was one of the most capable and respected midsize SUVs in the segment. Body-on-frame construction, legitimate off-road ability, a strong reputation for durability. The Pathfinder meant something. Then Nissan redesigned it for 2013 and swapped the traditional automatic transmission for a continuously variable transmission, a CVT, in a vehicle that weighed over 4,000 pounds and was frequently used for towing. The results were not subtle. NHTSA received more than 1,800 complaints specifically related to CVT transmission failures in these model years. Repair costs for a failed CVT came in between $3,500 and $5,000. Nissan quietly extended the warranty on these transmissions without issuing a formal recall, a move that many owners interpreted as the company acknowledging the problem existed without being willing to say so publicly in those exact words. 5-year depreciation reached nearly 60%. The Pathfinder's off-road identity had already been softened significantly in this generation, and then the transmission situation removed whatever goodwill remained. They took a trailblazing icon and turned it into a transmission-destroying minivan substitute. It is genuinely difficult to understand how that decision made it past a committee. Number 1. Ford Explorer, 4th generation, 2011 to 2017. Everything else on this list represents financial risk, reliability disappointment, or poor value. Number 1 represents something that goes considerably beyond that. The 4th generation Ford Explorer, America's best-selling SUV for years, a vehicle that millions of families trusted as their primary transportation, developed a documented problem with exhaust fumes leaking into the passenger cabin, not a minor odor issue, carbon monoxide, inside the vehicle, with people in it. NHTSA received more than 2,700 complaints related to this issue. Ford's initial response was to resist the characterization that a widespread defect existed. Police departments across the United States, many of which use the Explorer as a standard patrol vehicle, began reporting that officers were experiencing symptoms consistent with carbon monoxide exposure while driving on duty. That is a significant escalation from a standard consumer complaint. Ford eventually paid out over $300 million in settlements related to this issue. Recalls were issued across multiple model years. The reputational damage was substantial, and resale values for affected model years reflected the loss of public confidence in the vehicle. The Explorer was, for a long time, the definition of the American family SUV. The 4th generation model turned that trust into a safety crisis, and the reason it sits at number 1 on this list is straightforward. Every other vehicle here will cost you money. This one had the potential to cost considerably more than that. If this video gave you something useful, or at least made you feel better about a car you decided not to buy, drop a comment below. We would genuinely like to hear about the worst automotive experience you have ever had. The community here at StarWire tends to have some extraordinary stories, and they make for excellent reading. Hit subscribe if you have not already. We do this kind of research-driven automotive content consistently, and there is quite a bit more coming that you will not want to miss. Thank you for watching. Drive smart, buy smarter, and we will see you in the next one.